8207. A pilot flight crew member, other than pilot in command, must have received a proficiency check or line-oriented simulator training within the preceding A. 6 calendar months, B. 12 calendar months, C. 24 calendar months. The correct answer is C. The preceding 24 calendar months must have seen the completion of either a competence check or a line-oriented simulator training course for pilots other than the pilot in command. 8210. What are the line check requirements for the pilot in command for a domestic air carrier? A. The line check is required every 12 calendar months in one of the types of airplanes to be flown. B. The line check is required only when the pilot is scheduled to fly into special areas and airports. C. The line check is required every 12 months in each type aircraft in which the pilot may fly. The correct answer is A. For a pilot in command of a domestic air carrier, the line check is a requirement to assess their proficiency in operating the specific types of airplanes they are assigned to fly. The line check is typically conducted every 12 calendar months and evaluates the pilot's ability to perform flight duties and handle various operational scenarios in one of the types of airplanes they will be operating. This check ensures that the pilot maintains the necessary skills, knowledge, and competence to safely operate the assigned aircraft type within the domestic air carrier's operations. 8214. If a flight crew member completes a required annual flight check in December 2010 and the required annual recurrent flight check in January 2012, the latter check is considered to have been taken in A. November 2010, B. December 2011, C. January 2011. The correct answer is B. In this scenario, the flight crew member completed the required annual flight check in December 2010. The subsequent required annual recurrent flight check was completed in January 2012. The latter check is considered to have been taken in December 2011. The recurrent flight check is typically required on an annual basis to ensure that flight crew members maintain their proficiency and competence. In this case, since the recurrent flight check took place in January 2012, it is considered to have been taken in December 2011, which is within the 12-month interval from the previous annual flight check. 8208, which is one of the requirements that must be met by a required pilot flight crew member in reestablishing recency of experience. A. At least one landing must be made with a simulated failure of the most critical engine. B. At least one ILS approach to the lowest ILS minimums authorized for the certificate holder and a landing from that approach. C. At least 3 landings must be made to a complete stop. The correct answer is B. When a required pilot flight crew member needs to reestablish recency of experience, one of the requirements is to perform at least one instrument landing system ILS approach to the lowest ILS minimums authorized for the certificate holder. Additionally, the pilot must complete a landing from that approach. This requirement ensures that the pilot demonstrates proficiency in instrument approaches and landing procedures, particularly in challenging conditions where the lowest ILS minimums apply. By successfully performing this ILS approach and landing, the pilot confirms their ability to safely operate the aircraft under instrument flight rules. 8209. What is one of the requirements that must be met by an airline pilot to reestablish recency of experience? A. At least one landing must be made from a circling approach. B. At least one full-stop landing must be made. C. At least one precision approach must be made to the lowest minimums authorized for the certificate holder. The correct answer is B. When an airline pilot needs to reestablish recency of experience, one of the requirements is to complete at least one full-stop landing. A full-stop landing refers to a landing where the aircraft comes to a complete stop on the runway before taxiing or exiting. This requirement ensures that the pilot demonstrates proficiency in landing procedures, including proper approach, touchdown, and landing roll. By performing a full-stop landing, the pilot confirms their ability to safely control the aircraft during landing and ensure a safe and smooth stop on the runway.